Joe Biden has broken a 43-year record waiting this long to give an address to a joint session of Congress. While some outlets are calling it a State of the Union address, it's not really. And I don't even think it's fair to call it an address to a joint session of Congress because, like, nobody was there, which is weird because, like, during impeachment, they have everybody. But it's always so interesting how sometimes COVID matters and sometimes it doesn't. But anyway, I digress. Joe Biden gave his speech. Fairly typical Joe Biden talking points. Nothing particularly remarkable, in my opinion. He said a lot of the things we've already known his administration wants to do. Made stupid jokes about gun control. Talked about raising taxes, which honestly I don't care all that much about. But the interesting thing is the massive dividing lines, the massive partisan dividing lines. Following the speech by Joe Biden, Tim Scott, a Republican, a black man, gave a rebuttal speech. And there were some pretty good points being made. And then on Twitter, the left trended a racial slur against this man because they care about racism, apparently. They don't. Now, here's what's funny. All of these, Democrat Twitterati types are posting the CBS poll where they're like 85% of Americans liked what Joe Biden had to say or something to that effect. No. Stop there. 85% of the people who watched it. So CBS says. I then have to question how that could possibly be true when you look at this image compiled by our good friends over at patriots.win. You can see that on every major YouTube channel, on CNN, the White House's own YouTube channel, Fox News, The Guardian, ABC, NBC, C-SPAN, CBS. I guess they have the White House twice. You can see, I guess there's two different streams in the White House. Oh, the Spanish version. Joe Biden got ratioed into oblivion. Most people were giving a thumbs down. They don't like this. And so when I see this poll from CBS News, 85% of viewers approve of Biden's address to Congress, CBS News polling says, I kind of think y'all are lying. Certainly the people who are on YouTube are watching as well, and they're saying they don't like it. I don't like how people abuse the thumbs down button because the thumbs down button doesn't do what you think it does, I guess. Like Crowder was talking about this. He said, like, they'll do a segment where they accuse it. They'll say like a Democrat did this and people will be like, I don't like the Democrat did this. And they'll hit a thumbs down. And you're saying you don't like the video, not. OK, anyway, I digress. No, people now were saying we don't like Joe Biden's speech. We don't like Joe Biden. So how are you going to come and tell me 85% of viewers liked his address? I don't know. We'll talk a bit about what he said a little bit because he made this really dumb comment about gun control and deers wearing vests. Like stole a Robin Williams joke. And look, actually, you know what? I want to show you the CNN polling because the CNN polling shows that Donald Trump did better. I kid you not. And they phrase it really weird. But yes, Donald Trump's first address to a joint session of Congress polled more favorably than Joe Biden did. But I want to exemplify. I want to show you exactly why I think Joe Biden's speech was just pandering and not bipartisan. He's not mending the divide. He's making it worse. Market Watch says, quote, what? Do you think deer are wearing Kevlar vests? Biden gets colorful in calling for gun control. President's line on deer and DuPont's invention was not in his prepared remarks. So Joe Biden was talking about why would someone need 100 rounds or whatever. And he says, what do you think deer are wearing Kevlar vests? Okay, first of all, if we're talking about, okay, I'm not a gun expert by any stretch of the imagination, but if you're talking about an AR-15 with 5.56, what do you think Kevlar is going to do? These people have no idea what they're talking about. First of all, the Second Amendment never mentions deer at all. It literally says securing a free state. And even the conservatives who are like, it's about stopping tyrannical government. Let me stop you right there. It is, and more. The Second Amendment is about defending this country from enemies both foreign and domestic, not just domestic, also foreign. If somebody invaded this country, everybody's got guns. It'd be really hard to take over, wouldn't it? Kevlar, now moving forward, Kevlar doesn't stop rifle rounds. So there's a really great video I watched, like how many Kevlar vests to stop like a 5.56, and it's like 8. Like 8 vests lined up. And we're not just talking, like when you wear a vest, you got Kevlar on the front, you got Kevlar on the back. When they put this on the wall, you got both right next to each other. So it's actually like 16 layers of Kevlar to stop one rifle bullet. Sorry, dude, you need plate armor Or there's something called dragon scale or FRAS, flexible rifle armor systems. Those are ceramic plates, can stop. I don't even think they can stop 5.56. I think they can stop 2.23. Okay, I'm not gonna get into the gun stuff. The point is, you get my point. Biden's throwing out nonsense because he's pandering to one side, not trying to communicate with conservatives. When some, not even just conservatives, but libertarians and liberals who own guns, because there are many. And leftists, because leftists like guns too. As Karl Marx has said, under no pretext shall arms and ammunition be surrendered. The workers must frustrate this by force if necessary. On the right, of course, everyone loves Constitution. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So clearly, Joe Biden is just pandering to urban liberals, corporate neo-lib types, which don't even make up a strong portion of the country, to be completely honest, because you've got a large portion of progressives that have been growing and taking over the Democratic Party. I think now they're the plurality, not the majority, but like the high 40%. Conservative and liberal Democrats do not make up they make up the majority together, but individually they are not. So who's Biden talking to? I think he's just talking to the authoritarians who want to take away our guns. Of course, however, you've got people who are concerned that Joe Biden wasn't actually speaking to America, as I've stated. And we can see in this CNN poll, 7 in 10 who watched Biden say speech left them feeling optimistic. It's an excellent bit of framing. They can always choose how to frame the title of these stories to make it seem like Joe Biden is viewed favorably. As I already showed you, the image compiled by our friends over at patriots.win, you see all of these thumbs down. Okay, how is it 7 in 10 who watched it are feeling optimistic or supported what Joe Biden said when you go on social media and it's completely inverted? It's because they don't consider what I do. They don't consider YouTube or social media to be legitimate. They never have. It's going to be funny, though, when ratings flip, nobody watches the Oscars and you live in this weird world of archaic media where you're talking to a wall because no one's listening to you. But here's what I love about the framing device they use in the CNN poll. 7 in 10 who watched Biden left them feeling optimistic. Sure, I can hate what Biden said, but at least feel optimistic that he's too weak and feckless to do anything, right? So if someone asked me, are you optimistic following Biden's speech? Yeah, I am. You know why? Because people gave it a thumbs down. So, well, okay, fine. His speech didn't leave me feeling optimistic. You get the point. But let me show you where it gets real funny. And then we'll move on to a little bit about, things he was saying. They say the 51% who had a very positive reaction to Biden's speech is a bit more muted than reaction to the first address from other recent presidents. Barack Obama had the strongest first outing of the last 4 presidents, with 68% saying they had a very positive reaction to his speech. And George W. Bush in 2001 earned a similar 66% very positive. Fewer, 57%, had a very positive reaction to Donald Trump's 2017 address. Excuse me. Fewer? What do you mean fewer? Why did you put the word fewer in there, CNN? 57% is higher than 51%. 57% of the people who watched Donald Trump's first speech had a very positive reaction. 51% Joe Biden. You want to tell me that Joe Biden is the most popular president in history or whatever, and Donald Trump had higher approval ratings in his speech? Get out of here with your stupid polling garbage. Because here's my point. You want to come out and tell me 85% liked it. You then want CNN to come out and tell me 51% were very positive. Which poll am I supposed to trust? Y'all are insane. I'm sorry. I think Joe Biden he's like a placeholder president. It's the best they could do. People really did not like Donald Trump, and some people really loved Donald Trump. You want to come out now this garbage polling? I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I go on social media. The people who are paying attention, who are politically active, are saying, y'all, we don't like this Joe Biden guy. The people who might be blindly just having the TV on in the background are like, yeah, sure, whatever, I guess. But you got to these people just please stop acting like Joe Biden is some glorious hero. Take a look at this. Robert Reich, or however you pronounce his name. Biden could be as transformative as president as FDR. Could he? Or it could be as feckless as, I don't know, Buchanan. He says, but FDR didn't have to contend with a paranoid, xenophobic, racist opposition drenched in lies and extremist propaganda from right-wing media. Let me give a shout out to our good friend Siraj Hashmi with the list. For those that aren't familiar, Siraj has a list of people who should have their phones taken away for the tweets they put out. And so he posted a meme, and it's him, trade offer. I receive your phone, you receive the list. Why? Who did FDR have to contend with when he... It was pre-civil rights, dude. These people acting like Joe Biden is a saint sent from heaven are insane. 51% were very positive, according to CNN. CNN's own polling, and more people viewed Trump positively. All right. Or we could say 85% liked him. The polls, it's trash, okay? I can't give you determination. But you combine that with the YouTube thumbs down, I think generally people just don't care about Joe Biden. And you know what? You want to know who really doesn't care about Joe Biden? Was Ted Cruz really sleeping during Joe Biden's speech? Twitter has some thoughts. My friends, I am going to say yes. In my expert opinion, as a guy on the internet, I believe Ted Cruz fell asleep during Joe Biden's speech. And I don't think that's anything bad about Ted Cruz. I think that's something really bad about Joe Biden. Apparently, Ted Cruz said it was because Joe Biden was boring. They say more than an hour after talking at the podium, Biden was discussing his administration's plan for immigration reform when cameras cut to Ted Cruz, who appeared to be fighting sleep. Oh, talk about a rousing speech from the president. If you actually want to solve a problem, I've sent a bill to take a close look at it. Biden is saying as the camera focused on Cruz, whose eyes were shut for a brief moment before snapping open. Twitter users quickly pointed out the sleepy-eyed Cruz. When you're dreaming about Cancun, tweeted Aaron Rupar, a Vox reporter, referencing Cruz's trip to Mexico. Bro, you really shouldn't be highlighting the fact that Joe Biden is putting people to sleep, especially his critics. Ted Cruz is not someone who should be sleeping because he's supposed to be the person who's going to be standing up and pushing back on Joe Biden and his lies. He's not in the same political party. However, it's like I was saying, do you need me to tell you what Joe Biden said for the most part? No, I mean, talk about the gun thing because Joe Biden's clearly pandering to like urban neolibs. But everything he said, we've already heard before. He's like, yeah, I'm going to raise taxes. No, you got to pay your fair share. We're like, we heard this, dude. We get it. And maybe that's true of most State of the Union addresses. But typically, when a president gets elected, they give a speech within like a month. Joe Biden waited until April 28th. Jimmy Carter gave his on I think it was April 20th, but there was one historical record from the Library of Congress saying April 18th, so I don't know the exact date. But come on, even Jimmy Carter. No, people really didn't like that guy. I guess they kind of like him now, whatever. He waited until April, which was kind of weird. Joe Biden, in my opinion, is going to be another Carter. He's going to be a one-term president. I mean, I could be wrong, so whatever. I won't make predictions, but I don't think Biden is going to be some grand hero of the republic or whatever. They say Democratic Rep. Joaquin Castro also shared the clip on Twitter with Ted Snooze. Bro, that's a self-own. You have a muttering, mumbling president who's not saying anything substantive. Most people on YouTube are saying, we don't like this. And even CNN is telling us that people like Donald Trump more. Don't highlight that your president is putting people to sleep. Truly, truly amazing. But I'll tell you what I find the most amazing. Following the speech from Joe Biden, Tim Scott gave a rebuttal. And on Twitter, the left trended a racial slur. Okay. Fox News reports Uncle Tim slur against Tim Scott trends on Twitter after his Biden rebuttal. Critics erupt on social media site for allowing racist attack from the left to trend. Can I just point something out? Uncle Tim, literally a slur. It's a play on another phrase I'm not going to say. Why? Because it's a slur. Because it is designed to target a person based on their race and disparage them, effectively calling them submissive, weak, demure, whatever, as opposed to defiant, strong leadership qualities. Uncle Tim is a racial slur directed at Tim Scott because he is a black man standing up for individual rights and pushing back on critical race theory, wokeness, racism, and the Biden administration. You can disagree with Tim Scott. That's fine. I'm sure I disagree with him on a lot of things. There's some things I like that Joe Biden has but well, I'm going to hold off on giving Joe Biden praise for the time being because I feel like whenever I do, it kind of backfires. But I'll tell you this, okay, how about Joe Biden says he wants to tax the rich? Don't care. I'm sorry, guys. You're not going to convince me on this one. I know a lot of people are like, no, we shouldn't tax the rich. I'm like, why? I don't care. I don't care about Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Bezos and George Soros and Tom Steyer and Michael Bloomberg. Why? I don't tax them all. I don't care. Now, I think wealth taxes are dumb because they don't make sense, but they want to raise the tax bracket. Fine. Force these individuals to take less income and reinvest it. Sure, they'll have a high net worth. That's why the wealth tax makes no sense. But putting their investments back into the community, they'll still be rich. They'll still have the net worth. They can still sell the stuff. But what happens is when you raise the taxes, a lot of rich people are going to be like, okay, if I keep this, I got to spend 40% in taxes. How about I reinvest it into something so I maintain my net worth? And it's not so easy. Like you still got to pay taxes on objects you buy. But I'm saying like invest in companies that can grow and build wealth for you instead of just putting money in the bank. So I really, look, I don't care about the tax stuff that Joe Biden is doing. I'm not necessarily going to praise it. But in the long run, it curtails the billionaires dumping money to get our guns banned or whatever. Sure, I guess. But anyway, I digress. Tim Scott doesn't deserve this. He's a good dude. There's a lot of people I don't like on the Democratic, party. It's like, okay, well, I think there's good progressives, although I do find them to be few and far between. And I think there are good Republicans, a little bit more than there are on the Democrat side. But for the most part, the Republican Party I find to be pretty much trash. Fox News reports Uncle Tim trended on Twitter Wednesday night as left-wing users flooded the site with the racial slur on Senator Tim Scott, a Republican from South Carolina, following his rebuttal to President Biden's address. Scott, who is black, declared the United States is not a racist country, while noting he had encountered racism in his life. Some of it, he said, came from the left in the form of being called an Uncle Tom, a derogatory phrase for blacks who are viewed as too deferential to whites. His rhetoric infuriated some progressives as Twitter placed Uncle Tim on its trending topics as more tweets relayed the insulting, racially charged play in his name. Among them was from former MSNBC host Toure Neblett. Bravo, Twitter. It's amazing. Conservatives erupted as it became clear Twitter was allowing a racial slur to trend. Quote, this is from Molly Hemingway. Twitter is choosing to trend a racist attack from the left on Senator Tim Scott, the black Republican senator from South Carolina. Twitter is still out here going out of its way to make a racist attack against a GOP senator go viral. Apparently, they want him to suffer for the crime of upstaging Biden via a highly effective speech. Disgusting. Okay, I'm not going to play any dumb games. I'm not going to pretend like Tim Scott is some noble hero and Joe Biden was an evil villain. And I'm not going to pretend like Joe Biden is some great hero and Tim Scott was just wagging the finger or anything dumb like that. Obviously, on partisan lines, people are going to cheer on Tim Scott and appreciate the things he said. And the Democrats are going to act like Joe Biden, some hero on par with FDR. Come on. Tim Scott said some good things. I think he's a good dude. It's okay. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it was some great and amazing speech rousing the Republic to fight back and defend its freedoms. But he said some things I liked. America's not a racist country. He's also experienced racism. Guess what? I have as well. Yes, I have. And I still think America is the best country on the planet. But I think the identitarian left is sort of destroying everything. But anyway, I digress. It is what it is. I don't want to play these stupid games acting like my side, your side, his, whatever. Okay. Just be real about it and say, yeah, Tim Scott's all right. I think we need more defiance. We need stronger speeches. I don't think it was as strong as it could have been. And it's just more run-of-the-mill politics, some tit-for-tat back and forth. The issue for me is, I wonder if the woke left has already won. I mean, they have the cultural institutions. They have the judiciary. We're learning some really horrifying things about what's going on with the Chauvin trial and plans from feds. And I'm just like, does it even really matter? They won. With control of the cultural institutions, I shouldn't say they've won the war. They've won major battles and they control the ground. So, if you're opposing the establishment, the cathedral, you are la resistance. Oh, it's funny, though, that they called themselves the resistance when they controlled all the cultural institutions. Right now, they can say what they want. They can do what they want. They can put up racial slurs. It's fine. They can engage in violence. It's fine. They get away with it. In fact, it works for them because regular people don't care. Regular people won't stand up. When you see on YouTube how people really feel about Joe Biden, it makes you wonder. Online, they can't control the narrative because the like and the dislike button exists. Well, This is funny. YouTube's talking about getting rid of the dislike button. Why? I think it's bad for the narrative. How are they supposed to control a government when people can go online and say, I do not like you, I do not believe in you, and I don't want you to be president? Well, the dislike button shows that. It's hard for them to claim that 85% of people actually supported his speech or had a positive view of it when YouTube is just spattered with thumbs down. Now consider, maybe the people who watch TV are not the people on YouTube. The people watching on YouTube are paying attention to politics. They're seeking out politics, and they don't like what's happening. And the people who are watching TV are mindlessly droning along and not paying attention. And then you can see what's happening. The establishment wants you to sit down, shut up, and stop paying attention and go back to watching football or whatever. Those of us online on channels like mine and people like you clearly want others to pay attention, to defend freedom, individuality, and our rights. Well, they don't want that. A well-informed population is a hard population to control. So there you go. I'm disgusted with Twitter. But is anyone really surprised this is what happened? They allow a racial slur to trend. Maybe social media shows them for what they really are because we can speak out and we can see what they support. But I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.